So in this video, we'll move on to our actual main subject, Cleopatra. Cleopatra the Seventh, to give her her full title. Two pictures here you can see. Elizabeth Taylor from the famous movie, a statue. We're pretty certain this is much more what Cleopatra looked like than this. She's a Greek. So to recall the details of her early reign, her early life and her early reign, and understand her political position. Those are the key words. Ptolemy the 13th, her brother, a coup, trying to take over by force, plotting, intrigue. Pontanus, Achilles, Theodotus, three advisors to her brother Ptolemy. Exile, check your country. Pompey and Caesar, two Roman warlords, and miscalculate, smuggle, seduce, and the Alexandrine War. So, our Cleopatra appears to have been born in 69 BC. You're not entirely certain, I believe, who her mother or grandmother are. We know who her father is, Ptolemy. Well educated, speaks lots of languages, by all accounts, extremely intelligent. Famously, the first Ptolemy ruler to actually speak Egyptian. Around about sort of 53, 54 BC, she appears to begin to reign alongside her father, Ptolemy the 12th, Ptolemy Auletes. Here he is, a bit chubby, like a lot of Ptolemies. And she rules alongside him for the last few years of his reign, until he dies, we think, in about 51 BC. Now, Cleopatra cannot reign by herself. It's not allowed. She's a woman. So when Ptolemy the 12th dies, Ptolemy the 13th becomes the new pharaoh of Rome, of Egypt, Cleopatra's little brother. And they rule together for a few years. They'll appear, what we can tell from things like these coins, Cleopatra has no great desire to rule alongside her brother, because coins start to appear with just her face on them. So she appears to be sidelining her younger brother until 49 BC. And in 49 BC, there's a palace coup. Ptolemy, led by his three advisors, Pontanus, Achilles, Theodotus, launches a coup and drives out Cleopatra. Ptolemy the 13th then begins to reign by himself. Here's his coin. Cleopatra is not dead. She flees to the east, raises an army herself, and tries to regain the throne, but not very successfully. She appeared by the time we're up to the story, she's not really looking like winning back the throne by force. But everything changes in 48 BC. We've already said that you've got to imagine Ptolemaic Egypt as really part of a larger Roman-dominated world. And back in the real world, back in the Roman world, there's a civil war going on. There's Pompey the Great, Pompey Maximus, versus Caesar. At the Battle of Pharsalus in 48 BC, Pompey loses, his army is crushed, and he flees. And he flees in a boat south, and he ends up in Egypt. And it's this point that Ptolemy and his advisors see a chance to get themselves in with the world's greatest superpower and its new ruler, Caesar. As Pompey comes ashore, he's murdered on the orders of Ptolemy the 13th, or maybe more likely his advisors. He's murdered and beheaded. This is done, of course, they're thinking, right, if we do Caesar, the world's most powerful man, a favour, he'll do us a favour in return, and he'll confirm that I, Ptolemy the 13th, am the ruler of Egypt, with his blessing and backing. Later on that same year, of course, Caesar turns up in Egypt. He's looking for Pompey, and he's presented with this head. And the Egyptians think, Ptolemy thinks, oh, great, this is a good thing. He's going to like me now. It doesn't quite work out that way. Caesar may well be very pleased, secretly. So Pompey's dead, and he hasn't had to kill him, so good. but he can't show he's happy about some foreigner, some foreign king, which of course Romans hate foreign kings, some foreign king murdering a great Roman, especially when Pompey and Caesar were related through marriage and had been friends for many years. So Caesar is not that happy, certainly not appears to be, being presented with the severed head of Pompey. And he doesn't confirm that Ptolemy is a great friend of Rome and should be the Pharaoh of Egypt. And this is what gives Cleopatra her chance. In the famous scene with Cleopatra turning up, rolling out of a rug inside Caesar's quarters, Caesar is holed up inside the Grand Palace of Alexandria. Cleopatra knows, I need to get to this guy. I need his help. I can't just march in. I'll be executed by my brother's soldiers. So she has herself smuggled in a bag or rolled up in a rug. We're not quite certain. But in the famous scene, a slave brings her into Caesar's quarters, smuggles her in. She reveals herself, and she spends the night with Caesar. Almost certainly has sex with him, and their affair begins. The next morning, Ptolemy is shocked to see his sister clearly on very good terms with Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar announces, well, you two will reign together for a while. We'll see what's going on. Ptolemy's not having this, and what's called the Alexandrine War kicks off. Caesar does not have many soldiers with him, maybe a legion's worth. So Ptolemy and his troops attack Caesar and his troops in Alexandria, and what's called the Alexandrine War kicks off for the next few months. It's basically a siege in the city of Alexandria. Great parts of the city are burnt, the library is destroyed, or partly destroyed at this point. But at the end of it, Caesar, more reinforcements arrive, and Ptolemy has to flee the city. Doesn't really come to anything.